Hey guys, it is the one and only Tone Motivate with another episode, Shades of Tone. How you guys doing today? I am doing great. I have made it a point to start walking 2 miles a day, and I'm a little sore. I've been doing a little workout with it, but it's a hot girl summer, so we're gonna make it do what it do. So today I would like to talk about integrity. So as always, I like to have a famous quote for you guys that explains the episodes. So the time is always right to do what is right. And that is by the Honorable Dr. MLK. And I actually use this quote on my signature line of my email because I believe in it so strongly. Another quote that I found really dope was, leading with integrity and empathy requires vision and a connection to your deepest self. And that was by Carla McLaurin. And I do strongly believe in that because a lot of the things that we do is based off of our perception and how we look at things because of the experiences that we've had in our lives. So let's jump into it. What is integrity to you? Now, the definition of integrity is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles or moral uprightness. And as a culture, we do not have much integrity at all. We are not at the state of being whole and undivided. A lot of the times we are everywhere, all over the place, and it is very hard, even simply put as our culture, to be or stand undivided. A lot of the times we are more divided than undivided. Now, integrity to me simply is doing the same thing whether someone is watching or not. Example of this is that I always wipe the seat if I sprinkle when I tinkle. I don't care if there's a line of women outside or not. I'm going to wipe that seat simply. But it shows integrity because it doesn't matter what the woman before me did. I am going to ensure the woman after me doesn't experience that mostly. Now, personally, I also resonate with treating others how I want to be treated. This keeps me honest and true to my morals and principles. So those with integrity are usually honest, dependable, loyal, and have good judgment and respect. This takes me back to a convo I was having a few weeks ago. Friend A was telling me how friend B didn't want to rely on them because they weren't reliable. And I was just looking at them. And they're like, what? And I'm like, well, friend A, you would skip a job, a meeting, dinner, plans made a year in advance, etc. at the drop of a dime. And I asked them why they couldn't understand why friend B would rather Uber to LaGuardia Airport at 3 a.m. than to rely on them for a ride. Now, friend A also consistently needs friends to chip in while on outings, which is typically not a problem, but should be addressed beforehand as a common courtesy to those who will be grabbing the friend's tab or picking up their tab. This time, at a certain situation or a certain outing, our friends might not have it. And, if we really want you to be there and stuff like that, it is a nice gesture, even though you know that we might be able to handle it and that you will pay us later, that at least you thought of us beforehand and ensured that we had enough to cover both of our bills. Now, I have some questions for you guys. So would you let your boosting ass friend stay at your house alone? Without you there, nobody there, just roaming around your house, whatever. Would you trust them knowing what they did for a living? Would you think said friend would steal from you if you weren't around and had no proof? Would they claim they left the money that they owed you on your back porch and it happened to not be there when you got home? And once you mention it, they chuck it up to the wind blowing it away with no further explanation because you should be lucky they left it anyway. I'm pretty sure all of us know people like this. Now, don't kill the damn messenger. We all know people like this. And some of them are family members or close friends. But again, that goes back to discernment and boundaries. You can love people from afar without letting them take advantage of you. Now, with that being said, I have some questions for you. Can people trust you? Do you have people around you always that you have to keep an eye out for. No matter what, you always got an eye, always looking, because they just a little shady. And even though they're not always shady to you, they shady to others, which makes you think what situation would have those tables turn and you be the one that they're shady towards. Now, can people count on you? Are you typically the one that they can reach out to if they need a ride or a shoulder to vent on and stuff like that? Without any doubt. And in turn, do those same people turn around and have no issue with leaving you high and dry? Now, that's the thing that I had to work on. And I don't like to say that I was a people pleaser, but for lack of better words, I was at one point. I consistently gave into people or poured into people, and they started to feel entitled because of that. And I had to realize that I had a part in that as well. Because I have set this okay with how I treated folks, they were okay with me being a friend to them, but them not being a friend to me. So with that, people started to take advantage or seemed entitled around me. Have you guys ever experienced that? You do a favor for somebody a time or two and they become like they feel like it's mandatory for you to do it because you did a time or two? Or, do you give more of yourself to others with nothing in return? I honestly had to think about it a little more because it was like, okay, well, those folks felt entitled and I do support genuinely. But after a while, I would kind of be frustrated because I expected more from them. Maybe not as much as I gave, but I expected more than them. And in all actuality, this was simply because of what I presented to them, what I did for them, how I supported them. And just because I support people doesn't mean that they're going to support me in the same way. And sometimes if you care for people and you want them in your lives, you have to accept them where you can't necessarily say, oh, well, I expect you to do this, I expect you to do that, and be able to run with that, because simply put, some people just are who they are. They're not going to grow much. They're not going to change. And you have to decide whether those are people that you still want in your life. So let's discuss a little bit about differences between integrity and honesty. With integrity, it's consistent behavior regardless of if it's honest or not. With honesty, it's being truthful, whether it is correct or not about something. Honesty is telling the truth and staying true. Whereas integrity is sticking to your strong moral principles based on honesty and following them religiously. So with me, I like to think that I have high integrity because for the most part, I am going to do the same thing, whether I have an audience or not. So let's go back to the bathroom theory. Whereas you see people come out the bathroom and they literally leave the stall and just walk out the door. They don't wash their hands or anything like that. I honestly respect those people because they ain't wash their damn hands when they're alone. So why the hell are they going to wash it now? It just shows that they don't care about spreading germs and things of that nature. And being in healthcare, that is completely a pet peeve of mine. All I'm thinking about, especially like at the airport, is, oh my God, I hope they're not in the same plane touching all of these doors and stuff. Who knows how dirty their hands is? And a lot of people don't even know that just because your hands look clean doesn't mean that it is. So I don't like stuff like that, but I just keep an eye out for it. Whereas somebody that lacks integrity might come out the bathroom and they wash their hands just because people are looking, even though they know they don't really want to. So that's one example. Now, for me as a parent, for the parents out there, do you apologize to your kids when you're wrong? Do you take accountability if someone points out a mistake? So, going back to my son, like it's times when I might have been a little rough on him, or I was just straight up wrong. I, took one side of the story. I didn't really hear his side and I might have overreacted. And I'm going to come back to my young man. I'm going to let him know as a person, as a human, that I was wrong. It doesn't mean that because I'm older than you that I could just say and do whatever I want and I'm not going to take accountability for it. I feel like in a way that's gaslighting kids, and it starts to create problems for them in their future because they feel like some people can just do whatever they want while others do not. So I make it a point to let my baby know that regardless of who I am, mama, daddy, brother, sister, whoever, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'm going to bring that to you. And if you feel like someone's wrong or someone did something less than worthy of you, that you have a right to say something about that. I am really big on not sweeping stuff under the rug. I grew up in a family that did that. And we're not going to sit here and ignore each other for 2 weeks and then one of us call one day because the other one got a check at their house or something like that and now we cool. No, we need to discuss what it was that would happen, because I'm not going to take the feeling from that situation and have it stored in me and then turn into trauma because you didn't want to talk about it. So whether you want to talk about it or not has nothing to do with me. You just need to know that when you call me, eventually we're going to discuss this. And if not, then you don't even have to call. And it's that simple. Now, the great thing about integrity is that it is not something that we're born with. Okay, so some tips on building integrity could be volunteering, such as local shelters and food pantries. They can always use help. I personally use an app called Be My Eyes, BE My Eyes, and I help blind people find stuff and choose matching clothes and programs on their PCs, etc. in my spare time. You guys should try it out. They don't call all the time, but you randomly get a call. And the last call that I got was this blind guy, and he was literally on a computer, literally like looking through a program, and he couldn't find a specific file. So I literally helped him find that file. And it was so fascinating for me because I don't know what I thought about blind folks and using a computer and devices and stuff like that, but they use it just like we do. And he knew how to maneuver around there, honey, but he just could not find that file. So I got a newfound respect for those with quote unquote disabilities, because a lot of times they know how to navigate better than we do. Okay. So with that, you can also keep your promises. I strongly believe that if we have nothing else in this world, we have our word, I should say. All right. And I make sure to tell that to my son all the time. If you say something, you need to act on it. Do not promise things that you aren't able to do. And granted, we are human. Sometimes, the time just gets away from us. Things pop up. We're not able to do it, but it shouldn't be a habit. For the most part, if you tell somebody that you're going to do something, you're going to be there, or you commit to something, you should make it. They should know that pretty much they can rely on you and count on you to do what it is that you said that you do. Now, this one, I don't know, some of y'all not going to agree with me with this one, but non-aggressive driving. Did you know that it keeps everyone on the road safe and actually shows mindfulness and integrity? So a lot of the times we see people speeding. Oh, they're probably late for work. They're dodging in and out of traffic. They almost hit this person, that person. And they're just honking on their horns, laying on it, and literally rushing to the damn red light. Like, all of us about to sit here. Why are you rushing to get to this red light when I am literally going to be 5 seconds behind you? But I also realized that the way people act has nothing to do with me. The way that I react does. So me being mad that this person cuts me off isn't really going to do anything. Besides the fact that he could have caused an accident, I just let them people be. You know what I mean? You keep your frustration and your anger, whatever the hell you're going through, to yourself in your car. I'm going to keep mine, me feeling great and me feeling good and easing on down the road over here. So try it. Try to be less of a road rager. That is one of the easiest things that we can begin to do. If that means stop being so late, leave out a little earlier, whatever the case may be, then try it. Guarantee you'll see a change in a couple weeks. Now, with that, like I was saying about keeping your promises, you should also be honest in all your communications, right? If you cannot do it, if you are burnt out, if you are stretched thin, say that. I have come to the point where if I want to help folks, I will say yes. If I don't, I will say no. If I feel like explaining, I will. And if I don't, I don't. It's yes or no. If I say yes, I'll be there. If it's no, then I won't. And honestly, it's like, you could take that however you want to take it, find someone else to help or support you or whatever the case may be. But I am booked and busy and I cannot help this time. But you can always circle the block at another time and I'll be willing to help you if I see fit and if I have time. Now, a lot of us so distracted and lose focus of everything that's going around us, everything that we should be doing and all that stuff. Staying focused is also a tip on building integrity. Okay. A lot of times those distractions are just in place to knock us off our game, but being able to back to that focus and back on track is all that matters. In addition to that, we all have seen people or have been people that we wasn't really organized or that clean, right? And this goes for our environment too. Have you ever been on a highway and you see people just throw out bags of garbage? Like, now that grinds my gears. Like, wow, you really did that? You know what I mean? It just makes me think of the things that they do when no one's around, if you're going to blatantly disrespect Mother Earth while people are watching. And to me, I just think it's really selfish, because even though we might not see catastrophic events happening in America physically in our time, we have kids. And even if you don't have kids, you have nieces and nephews, cousins, younger ones that you care about. And to leave them knowing that I did nothing to reduce my carbon imprint on the world, it really just bothers me. So I don't litter. I have a garbage bag in my car. If anything, put it in the floor of my car. And then when I park or before I go in, I'll make sure I take all my trash out the car and put it in the garbage. But, keeping your environment clean, organized, and all that stuff is also a way to build integrity. This and all of these things we can strive to do today for the most part. Integrity is not hereditary. We can cultivate it in our lives at any time. So you guys just remember that it is always the right time to do what is right, and that leading with integrity and empathy requires vision and connection to your deepest self. As always, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Please email us, get in contact with me, and I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. You're also more than welcome to let me know about any show topics you would like to hear about. And as always, always love.
To respond to a question, make a suggestion for an episode, to be a guest, or give feedback, reach out to us at info@tonemotivates.com. You can also find us on social media at Tone Motivates on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and at Shades of Tone _podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And as always, you can find us at tonemotivates.com, where all of those links are as well.